Tell me a little bit more about what that research process was like for the book. And
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you got to eat lots of pizza, you know?
Yeah, I did.
Hello and welcome to See You Live. I'm Susan Post, Associate Editor of Columbus Underground, and today I have with me Jim Ellison, who is a blogger and writer. Really exciting topic today. We are going to be talking about all things pizza in Columbus, including Jim's new book about the history of pizza in Columbus called Columbus Pizza, A Slice of History. Great name.
Yep.
You know, so first just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Lifelong resident of Columbus, grew up in Clintonville, lived in Clintonville until just a year ago. Longtime Columbus Underground
Yes, you've
person,
written for us.
including my pizza connection to Columbus Underground, which was a Pizza Grand Prix, which was an incredible event that we ran for several years. Best CU event for 2009, so embraced, and that's
Sounds
where
like a
I
good
started
event.
to develop my pizza expertise by eating so many types of pizza from all over Columbus.
Sounds tough.
Yeah, so I've been a blogger in town since 2006. I think I'm the longest continuous food blogger, probably. Just means that I'm crazy for sticking at it for so long and no money. Columbus is a big part of my life. Food is a huge part of my life. And this book just kind of brings a lot of that together.
Well, yeah, that was my next question is,
Sure.
you know, tell me a little bit about why you decided to write this book about the history of pizza in the city.
Combination of things. I, through Columbus Brew Adventures, which is no longer a company, our local brewery tour company for about 6.5 years. When we were putting the company together, we discovered that people in Columbus love beer, but they only seem to love it on Saturdays. So I had to find some way to generate some revenue for other days of the week, and I created this pizza tour, because what goes great together? Pizza and beer,
Of
right?
course,
So,
yeah.
and doing that, I became really well versed in some Columbus pizza history and the four places that I kind of featured on that tour, which was Meister's Pizza, which is a Chicago style.
Oh, yeah. Very familiar with that
Iacana's,
one.
which is classic Columbus. Late Night Slice, because how can you not do Late Night
Right.
Slice in Columbus? And wrapped it up at Hound Dogs, which is a very iconic place for Old North Columbus, Clintonville, and very unique place. We're going to talk about them a little bit later.
We are. Stay tuned.
So yeah, we'll save that for later. But yeah, I just kind of put that all together. Had some unexpected free time due to COVID, so I cranked out the book a little bit ahead of my schedule, and things go well. Hope to have it out by December, but may take a little bit longer. The publisher's backed up by COVID as well.
Yeah. Awesome. So stay tuned for that for sure. Tell me a little bit more about what that research process was like for the book. And
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you got to eat lots of pizza, you know?
Yeah, I did. I dedicated myself to research. A lifetime dedicated to consuming pizza. It was a lot harder than I expected. So, you know, as a food blogger, as a writer for many years, I had an idea of where I wanted to go. I'd had a lot of interviews with some of the places already and knew them well. But it was a challenge. And the other challenge is there's 70 years of history to cover in this book, right? A lot of people don't know that Columbus was one of the first cities in the Midwest to have pizza.
Really?
Which is a pretty big deal, yeah.
So
and
when did pizza first kind of start appearing in Columbus?
For restaurants, 1934 may be the earliest date.
Okay.
We know for sure 46, but probably 34 at TAT Restaurant, which is this great place on the east side, very old school, mom and pop.
Nice.
Still do great pizza today, but they were the first to serve it in Columbus. And there's no dispute about that. For like most history things, like who did the first cheesesteak, who did the first banana split, there's always this controversy and fighting. Nobody disputes that TAT was the first in the city. But it was kind of a back menu thing, something that people didn't know about.
Yeah.
So our first pizzeria was a place called Romeo's, not the chain of today, but named after Romeo Surrey, who was one of the founders. That started in December of 1950.
Okay.
So that's why I really
wow.
would love to see this book come out in December,
Yeah.
because that's the 70th anniversary of pizzerias and pizza as we know it in Columbus. And then Romeo's partner in that venture was Jimmy Massey. So most people are well familiar with Massey's Pizza if they've lived in Columbus more than a couple months. So a lot of history there.
Yeah.
The great challenge with this book, other than doing tons and tons of research over 18 months, was interviewing people. And most food businesses that I work with, you can't get them to stop talking about their business. It's like they want to promote. Pizza culture is a little bit different,
Really?
especially these old school pizzerias from the 50s and 60s. it was really hard to convince people that this was like a legit thing.
Interesting.
And my last name's Ellison, not Ellisano or whatever. So I think that maybe hurt me occasionally too. But literally, I had to stalk some of these folks to get interviews.
Yeah.
Like, emails didn't work, calls didn't work. I'd introduce myself in person. Hey, here's a little background on me.
Yeah.
Let me know a good time to get together with you. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing at all.
Huh.
One guy, and I won't name which place, I had 4 attempts, in-person attempts to interview him. The first one was like, yeah, come see me next Thursday. I'll be here at 10. Show up, he's not there. So followed, hey, sorry I missed you. And it took me 4 attempts to get a great interview. On the flip side, some other folks were incredibly forthcoming, especially Panzera's Pizza, the whole family, especially Nick Panzera was really gracious with his time and helped me get some incredible stories. So
awesome.
There's definitely a couple interviews I wish I could have gotten, and I still have this small window when it's kind of edit time just before publication. I might be able to squeeze some stuff in, but it was a lot of work.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
It's so weird to think of there like not being pizza.
Right.
I don't know. My young self talking, I suppose. And you're kind of talking about some of these really unique interviews. What was one of the most interesting things that you learned when you were researching this book about the history of pizza?
There was so much more than even I thought. And I'm, again, lifelong Columbus resident, and I love pizza. But I learned a lot of things that I never would have dreamed of. One thing that I kind of knew, but was really kind of spotlighted in doing this research, is Columbus is really a hotbed for innovation for pizza.
Okay.
In a lot of different ways. We have our own style. We'll probably talk about that later.
Talk about that too.
Donato's Pizza in particular, the Grody family, in addition to growing Donato's, has grown a lot of pizza technology in town,
right.
Which a lot of people don't know about. So we're a national leader in that. A couple other neat things that I found out, RDP, which is one of our local food suppliers, used to be called DePaulo Food Service, so it's the DePaulo family. And the person that started that business, Richie DePaulo, who's deceased, would have loved to have interviewed him. He was considered by many to be the pizza historian for Columbus. But they did a lot of things to innovate pizza in Columbus too. One thing, which is a great story, is something that I think we take for granted, which is sliced banana peppers, right?
Okay.
So that was a thing that was essentially created by them. So the backstory is, if you run a pizza shop, there's all the labor of chopping everything by hand, right? And especially with peppers, as you're cutting things throughout the day, you tend to get little nicks in your hands if you're a chef. So you get that painful kind of pepper sauce and that cut, and it just kills you. And, it's just so much extra labor. So a lot of the pizzeria owners started to ask Richie, it's like, hey, is there some way we get these peppers sliced? And they tried all the different things they could do at their warehouse and their facility. They couldn't make it work. So eventually, he contacted the Vlasic Pickle Company and said, hey, we're trying to cut these peppers. Is there anything that you can do? So they tried a bunch of different things and finally said, well, our typical pepper slicer, this doesn't work on, but we tried it on a pickle slicer and it works. So think of those big jars, right, of banana peppers and pickle juice. That's how it started, is Columbus asking for, can you provide a product like this for us? It was a hard sell when they first got it. A lot of the pizza places thought it was a little bit weird or different, but there was one place in Columbus that just thought these were the greatest things since sliced bread, right? Sliced peppers. So it was this little sub shop on the OSU campus called Quiznos. Not the Quiznos of today with an S instead of a Z.
Okay.
That's another cool backstory too, because we think that the founders of Quiznos were inspired by the OSU one. So anyway, he loved those peppers. They went great on sandwiches, everything like that. And he said, hey, if anybody else doesn't want these sample jars, bring them to me because I can use them. So then it started to grow and grow and grow from there. So that's a pretty cool story.
Interesting. So if you like banana peppers on your pizza, thank
RDP.
Columbus. There you go. Awesome. You said the book is going to come out in December?
Hoping for December, could be February. It really depends on a couple things over the next couple months.
Great. We will definitely keep you updated when that book comes out and let you know, so you can check that out. Jim, thanks so much for being here today and sharing a little bit about the history of pizza in Columbus.
My pleasure. Thanks for your time.